So let's talk about Creative Africa. The Creative Africa experience, from a market perspective, is much bigger than anybody ever guessed it will be. I mean, when you talk about Creative Africa as a pillar of the 21st century strategies that I believe entrepreneurs and enterprises should be looking at, you're looking at creativity from a movie perspective. So, Nigeria's Nollywood, for instance, is arguably the third largest movie industry in the world. And if you go across the diaspora, the Caribbean, the last time I was in the Caribbean, a taxi driver was talking about, Genevieve, Omotola, Ramsey Noah. They know all the characters. They know all the stars in Nollywood. So Nollywood is a global industry into on itself. And with the advent of Netflix and streaming, Nollywood has an even wider audience. And it's not just Nollywood. It's also about Ghana. South Africa has a thriving movie industry. Go through Netflix and look at the opportunities and the lineup of African movies. It's quite impressive. But Creative Africa also includes sports. And if you look at the sports arena, you can see that a lot of crossover is happening in the sports place. You have NBA teams, the National Basketball Association, which are, as you know, some of the best paid players in sports in the world. You have entire teams that are fielding Nigerian players. And these are second generation Nigerians. So these are Nigerians who their parents were immigrants or their grandparents were immigrants. They are born in the United States. They're US citizens, but they are typically Nigerian. They have Nigerian names. They carry Nigerian passports. And they're doing extremely well in the NBA. There's a lot of Nigerians also in the NFL and across the entire sports arena as far as the diaspora is concerned. Now, coming back to Africa, you can see that the sports demand is growing, successfully, and there is going to be huge opportunity across the continent for enterprise and business in sports. Folks can own, local teams, and local teams can engage with international meets and so on. But one area in the sports place, as far as Creative Africa is concerned, is the X Games. There is a growing demand for X Games, and X Games are those, extreme sports, skateboarding, and some of that fantastic stuff that it's typically is typically reserved for the younger generation. But in addition to the X Games, we're having a lot of electronic games that have become mainstream. And so teams have started forming, and competitions and tournaments have been formed around electronic games and games on PlayStations and so on and so forth. And that's very exciting because some African teams are being developed and they seem to be doing very well. Some of the tournaments in the electronic game space have some serious tournament money. So you're now beginning to see professionalism creeping into the electronic game space. So when you see those 16, 17-year-olds on the couch playing games all day, it's actually a job now.